Well, hello, everyone. I'm so excited to welcome you to our Fall 2023 Jammy Career Webinar Series. Our kickoff event today is iJobSearch, Maximizing Emerging AI-Powered Career Tools. My name is Yas Hardaway, and I'm the Executive Director of Career Services at GSEP, and this program is a partnership between our Career Services and Alumni Relations teams. For those of you who are new to our Jammy Communities of Practice, you may be wondering, what is Jammy? Jammy is a Swahili term for community, and our Jammy Communities of Practice programs are designed to provide up-to-date labor market information and career insights, as well as help you expand your professional network, your professional community. In the fall, we host our Jammy Career Webinar Series, which are moderated Q&A panels. And in the spring, we host our Career Connect sessions, which are interactive learning sessions that consist of Zoom breakout conversations. So what do we have in store for today? So I'll start off by just sharing a little bit about our learning outcomes, what we hope that you will get from this session, a couple housekeeping items, and then we will dive right into our panelist introductions, which will be led by our Director of Alumni Relations, Dr. Renee Dorn. Dr. Dorn will also moderate a Q&A among our panelists, and then hopefully if there's time, we can take some questions from the audience, but we do encourage you to put your questions in the chat as we move through our session. Following the Q&A, we will announce a new partnership with a company called Ramp, and you'll have an opportunity to hear from one of the co-founders today who is on the panel. And you'll also have an opportunity to see a demo of the site, which is very cool, and hopefully you'll find to be both innovative and very relevant to you in your job search. And then we'll close out with what's next. We'll share a little bit more information and talk about what is ahead for the remainder of our fall. So a few housekeeping items. This session is being recorded, and you will have access to the recording following the session. So we will upload the recording to our shared drive, and we'll provide that link to you in the chat. I also encourage you to take advantage of the live transcription if you need to do so. So please feel free to do that as well. So what do we hope that you obtain from this session today? Well, one, we hope that you gain clarity about some of the AI tools that are out there to support you in the next step of your career planning. Two, we hope that you'll gain confidence in your ability to successfully move toward your career objective. And then three, we hope that you will expand your network and be able to connect with other working professionals from our Pepperdine community. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Dr. Renee Dorn, Director of Alumni Relations, who will lead panelist introductions and our moderated panel. Dr. Dorn?
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Yaz, and thank all of you for joining us today for our new fall jamming for this new 2023 session. And we have some exciting panelists for you to hear from. And some of them are alums, and one of them is, like Yaz said, a new partner for Career Services. So to get us started, let me start out by introducing our wonderful team of panelists. So first, we have Dr. Christopher Hong. He is a GSEP alum, and he is the Assistant Director of Technology, Innovation, and Outreach at Los Angeles County Office of Education. So welcome, Dr. Hong. And tell us a little bit about what you do and your GSEP background.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dr. Dorn. My name is, like she said, Dr. Christopher Hong. I actually am class from GSEP class of 2020. I actually got my doctorate at Pepperdine in learning technologies, and that actually boosted me to where I am right now. It pushed me into this new role. I went from school administrator to assistant director of technology services. And my focus and my charge with Los Angeles County Office of Education is to educate and support all 80 school districts in the county of Los Angeles. So over 2 million students and their teachers and families in providing technology support. So I do a lot of ed tech trainings. Additionally, I also work at Pepperdine. I'm an adjunct in their MAT program. I teach the single subject candidates how to single subject methods class, and I'm excited to be here and share with you everything about AI that I know.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Hong. And next we have Dr. Danielle Jenkins, who is another GSEP alum, and she is Innovation and Business Strategist at Integrity Management and Consulting Group. So welcome, Dr. Jenkins.
Thank you, Dr. Dorn. It's so great to be back and be among my Pepperdine family. I am Dr. Danielle Jenkins, and I'm actually an alum from GSEP from the EDOL program. So shout out to that program. I am the owner and a business strategist for Integrity Management and Consulting Group based in San Francisco. And I specialize in guiding startups and tech firms on fostering growth, strategic partnerships, and sustainable innovation. I am also deeply committed to promoting DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion in the tech industry. And this dedication just drives me to provide coaching and support to underrepresented tech talent and to make sure that they have equal access to opportunities and can thrive in the tech landscape. So it's so great to be here. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Jenkins. We look forward to hearing more from you. And then we also have a new partner with Career Services in GSEP, and this is Danny Leonard, and he is co-founder of Ramped. So welcome, Danny. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Dr. Dorn. I'm really excited to be here. I did not graduate from Pepperdine, and I don't have a doctorate, so excuse me. However, we have just established a really, really cool partnership with Pepperdine. My company, Ramped, is on a mission to fix the job search, and a massive part of our mission and our initiative is to democratize access to fantastic jobs for all people from all walks of life. I am really excited to share our suite of free tools with everybody here, show you how to use them, and show you how you can take power back over your job search.
That's fantastic. We look forward to hearing more from you, Danny. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
And then we have our last panelist, but she is so exciting to hear from. She is also a GSEP alum, and her name is Rachel Reckart. She is the Vice President of Growth Transformation at Magnet. So welcome, Rachel. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yes, Rachel Reckart. I am also, as stated, an alum. I got my master's in psychology through the GSEP program in 2020. I've been working in AI for much longer than that, and I'm currently running all of our AI and automation initiatives for our globally for our Magnet organization. Magnet, for those of you that haven't heard of the company because it's not widely known, is a contingent workforce management company. And so we specialize in software and services for contingent workforce. So for contractor, for gig work, for where we are going in the workforce of the future.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us, Rachel. All right, so let's start getting into some of these questions. And actually, Rachel, I'm going to start with you. Talk to us about AI. What exactly is artificial intelligence? Why are we hearing about this so much now? You told us that you have been working with this, for a long time now. Why are we all of a sudden hearing about AI?
Yeah. So artificial intelligence is really the ability for machines to perform historically human tasks. So it is things that we hear about a lot, like natural language processing, which really we see in the world of chatbots, which everybody is familiar with. We see it a lot in vision, facial recognition software. The thumbprint on your iPhone is artificial intelligence. Any kind of predictive analytics, so helping us to make more data-driven decisions and to really quantify and consume large amounts of data to make really pointed and accurate decisions. So it is historically human tasks that can be done at scale, faster, sometimes better than humans can do so.
Wow. Okay. So we're seeing it more. You mentioned in different areas. So even on our phones, we in the workplace, we're seeing it in education. Christopher or Dr. Hong, you were telling us about what you're doing with the LA school district. So tell us how AI has become a part of what is going on in the school district. What are kids learning, and what are you teaching to families about AI?
So kind of like what Rachel was saying, AI has been around for a while. I think it's now getting people comfortable with knowing AI is around. I mean, we have Siri, we have Alexa, we have all that. We've been using it. We're just in the next iteration of AI, which is generative. And generative means it can create now. So you ask it something, it creates it. That's why ChatGPT blew up. And once that started to blow up, the one thing all educators, all families, all parents learned with the use of AI is you can get back time in your life. It can do a lot of the routine things that you couldn't use before or you couldn't do before, like lesson planning. I can have an AI program create me a lesson plan now, so I can actually spend time with my students. I can use AI to help tutor students. I can help differentiate lessons. I can tweak and modify it in a way where it can reach a bigger audience. And I know Danielle is big on the DEI, and I think AI is great for that, because now we can connect and break down any language barriers. We can break down any concerns. We can make information a little bit more accessible than before. And that's what we're doing. We're teaching teachers and parents and families how to use it to make life easier, including looking for jobs. And that's one of the great skill sets that you can use. And how can you use AI to train yourself for interviews and things like that? So we've been using AI for all these resources, and families have loved it and they've been engaged with it. And I think we're getting to that stage where we're moving on to the next iteration of learning, from when Google first came out and people were like, you can't use Google because they can use a search engine for everything, to when Wikipedia came out, you can't use Wikipedia because it has all information. We're finally at the next iteration of information where it's going to start to evolve and start to change. I think as families and individuals embrace it sooner, the better it'll be for them in the workforce.
Okay, that's good for us to know, for us to understand that, especially in the education realm. So I want to bring Dr. Jenkins in to ask, because she did talk about DEI. So how is DEI a part of AI? And is there any bias that has formed around AI when it comes to DEI and being more inclusive?
Great question, Dr. Dorn. So yes, DEI is so important in any type of technology advancement. And I think there's two parts. From like the company perspective, I think DEI is a really great way to eliminate that bias in the system when it comes to the interview process, candidate experience. And the AI algorithms are helping reduce that bias during the hiring process by focusing just on skills and qualifications, and really ensuring just a fair evaluation of all candidates, regardless of their demographic backgrounds. And then from a candidate experience, I think it just really kind of levels the playing field. It allows candidates to customize job matching using job matching platforms, being able to use it for resume optimization, job alerts, helping them prepare for interviews. So I think from a candidate and a company perspective, DEI is very critical right now and important.
Okay, so I'm going to go to Rachel now. So after hearing Danielle talking about how important DEI is when it comes to using AI, what are, since you're working with businesses and organizations, what are they asking for, or what are you seeing within those organizations and how they're using AI to benefit their businesses and to help find candidates?
Yeah. So businesses are starting to use AI, especially in the hiring arena or the staffing arena, to help with resume screening. So like Dr. Jenkins was saying, so you can tailor your resume to their intake system, right? So it's a lot of that keyword matching and things like that. They're looking for characteristics. They're looking for leadership qualities and certain themes. So they're using AI to help with that. Now that comes with some warnings in terms of, are we creating bias? Are we, how do we make sure that we eliminate that and that, we're training the machines properly? But where we're seeing it help is actually in the unconscious bias space. So machines don't have unconscious bias. Humans do, right? Where we're, but the people that build the machines can build in their own biases to that.
Right.
So by including a very diverse team that is building the AI solution, you can help to eliminate a lot of those concerns, but they are still there. They're using them a lot with initial screenings for interviews. Like you can use it for video interviews as people send in their video interviews with facial recognition and just understanding with speech recognition. We are using it a lot for matching as well. So to say, hey, we, especially, like I said, Magnet is a software and services company. So we do the staffing and we build the software for it. So we have a candidate that is now about to leave their job. Well, let's match them with our list of all of our jobs here and our list of all of our candidates here and find the best candidate. The same with our suppliers. What suppliers have historically given us candidates to fill this type of role. So a lot of candidate matching too.
Okay. Oh, that's good to know. So I'm going to move now to Danny. So for the company that you have, Ramped, why did you come up with this company in particular, and how important is AI to what you're doing and trying to help people find jobs or find positions?
Yeah, for sure. Really good question. Thanks for asking. So we came up with Ramped back in early 2020. It feels like a lifetime ago, pre-pandemic, because my co-founders and I had all experienced the pain of the job search. And later in our careers, we'd all hired folks coming through experiencing that same pain. They had not come in necessarily prepped or with the knowledge they needed to know to attack the job search in a really efficient way. So when I think of AI, we are not using it as anything like skipping or not learning or allowing folks to, bypass steps. We are simply redefining the job search, because in the future, when we want to think about a job search, we want all sides to be 100% equal footing, equal access. And that doesn't look like a resume and necessarily a LinkedIn profile where you can visually see somebody. It looks like attributes, skills, upside potential, which is all set in stone based on a formulaic and very simple, easy to understand framework. We're not quite there. So what we're doing with Ramped is we're giving people access to tools where they can gain back hours of time in their job search and therefore focus on the strategy behind their job search. So when I mean strategy, I'll give you some examples. Today, folks are applying to hundreds of jobs, sight unseen, using these auto apply buttons, auto click, one click apply on LinkedIn or Indeed. And 90% of those jobs, often for job seekers, they're just not qualified for. So if I require 10 years of experience, which is totally cool. If a company wants to require 10 years of experience for a direct to load position, that's up to them. If you're a job seeker, you just shouldn't, and you don't have that experience, just don't apply, right? That saves you time and energy and effort. So we're giving people tools to really understand themselves, understand where they're going, and then attack the job search with a better chance of success where they are and where they want to go. Less about what they look like, obviously, and what experience on paper they have, and more about what's your potential, what skills do you have, and where are you going on your own journey.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good to know. And I know a little bit later you'll give us a demonstration of how RAMP works. So I want to ask, just open this up to the panel. If I am someone who is looking for a job, what kind of skills, digital skills, would make me a stronger candidate? And I'm opening that to anyone who wants to answer.
I think for me,
I
just
can-
with,
oh.
oh, go ahead. You first.
No,
Sorry.
no. Go ahead, and I'll go after
Okay.
you.
I think for me right now, when I'm hiring someone, it's how effectively do they know how to use the software and how effectively can they use it. And so I know with generative AI and such, I use it a lot now in my day to day. And one of the things I'm looking for with my candidates is, do they understand what prompt engineering is? Do they understand how to utilize the generative AI in a way where it provides them the resources necessary to be successful? And so, for example, we do a lot of project charters, and I don't want to spend the time all day going, what are the pros and cons of something? Can I just have AI do it for me? And so right now, when I'm hiring someone and looking for someone, that's one of the skills I'm looking for. So it's how effectively can you leverage the technology? And then on top of that, it's just not the digital and technical skills that I look for. It's also a lot of the soft skills. How well can you communicate with your teammates? How well can you communicate with your supervisors? How collaborative are you?
Okay, thank you. Danielle, you wanted to jump in
Yes,
too.
this was a good question because I get it a lot when I'm talking to people that want to try to enter tech and may not have a technical background. And even some digital skills I think that are key, even if you don't have an engineering or computer science background. Um, and I use very frequently are like data analysis and interpretation softwares. And that can be as simple as like Google Sheets, Excel, and being able to use various data visualization platforms to kind of help understand those trends and patterns. Another one that I think is important when it comes to collaboration, like digital collaboration tools. So anything like Microsoft Teams, Slack, Zoom, even Zoom would be collaboration. But also I would say any type of digital marketing, when it comes to like email marketing, social media management, that's also a good digital skill. And project management. I do a lot of projects, so knowing softwares like Asana or Airtable is really a good digital skill to have. And then if you're interested in any type of like UX or design, so like Adobe, Figma, those are great software digital skills to have as well. And those I would say for any non-technical, those would be key for me.
Okay, Rachel, yes.
Yeah, I wanted to let other people answer first, but this is kind of, I'm looking at this all the time. So I think what I constantly look for is a digital savviness rather than digital competence. Like to Dr. Jenkins' points, you don't have to have a data science background to get into tech. I actually don't have any kind of computer software or engineering background, and I run giant AI teams. But I understand AI. I'm not afraid to learn a new tool, to just open ChatGPT and like, okay, now I'm going to figure this out because this is the new thing, or to figure out all the new ways that, ChatGPT is just the beginning. Now you can create PowerPoints and videos, and just having the confidence and the savviness to get into any of those tools. Things like Zoom and Microsoft and none of those any of their tool sets shouldn't intimidate you. You should be able to fluidly move across all of those. And I think that's really promising for our next generation too, because everyone grew up with tech. So you do have that natural comfort in it. But I think digital savviness is the most important thing when you're looking at your digital skills.
Wow, Danny, yes.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Rachel. I would love to add to that and say, I think what I've found in hiring folks from all places, all walks of life is, especially when you're looking to get in or break into an industry, it is definitely not about what you know, but it's more about the determination and perseverance and persistence in which you pursue an avenue, whether it's learning a new skill or deciding you want to be somewhere. So I'll give you an example. I've hired a countless number of early career professionals coming with zero experience wanting to break into technology. That's something I used to do in a previous life quite often. And I would not care if they came in knowing Salesforce or any specific technology that was required in the job, but could they show me that they could run a simple Google search if I gave them a big prompt and said, hey, what would you do if I asked you to go download a spreadsheet and upload it to this technology piece? Could they simply run a Google search and find me the YouTube video that was required to do it? That's a level of intelligence and really just perseverance and determination. Like, I want this, I'm not going to take no for an answer, and I'm going to get it done. And that can be taught. And I think that's part of the mission at Ramped is you don't need to know it, but it can be taught, and not everybody has access to that information. So the fact that you are exploring and opening avenues for people to learn those skills is really, really important.
Okay, so based on that, how do we reconcile if we're looking at positions, we may be interested in it, but we don't have the background for it? So should we go ahead and apply for it, or just say, okay, let me try and take a course somewhere where I can gain those skills first so that I will be prepared to possibly even be competitive for that position? So how do we reconcile, between that? And I'm opening that to everybody. And let me just say to everyone who's listening, we're coming close to the open audience questions. So if you have some questions, put them in the chat. Okay. So once again, I'm just going to the panel. So how do we reconcile that? If we're interested in a job, we may not have the skills, but we want to apply for it. What do we do? How do we work around that?
So I want to jump in here because we have a pretty strong perspective at Ramp. There are going to be some jobs that you are just not a fit for today based on the job description as it's written. So if a job requires you, and if you just think about an extreme example, right? If you need to be a doctor and you need to know how to perform knee surgery, don't apply, and you don't know that, don't apply to be a knee surgeon, right? Like, that's just a crazy example, extreme example. But for the jobs that you could potentially have a fit for, maybe in your intelligence level, your determination, your skill set, your upside potential, yes, there are tons of opportunities for you to get those skills, get them either for free or cheaply using so many sites, Ramped included. And that is, I think, where the gray area should become very clear in the future is employers should tell you, oh, I'm not looking for somebody that has this experience, and you should be able to gain those skills in order to apply. And now the other avenue is when you're applying to jobs, definitely start with just ruling out all the jobs. Read the job description, learn about the job, learn about the company, and just don't waste your time on ones you are actually not a good fit on. That will slim down your search and make you such a better job seeker right from the jump.
Okay, so Rachel or Christopher or Danielle, do you have any comments regarding what Danny just said? Do you agree? Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I would like to just kind of add that even though you're not a good fit now, just upskill, get a certificate to make sure you can, close those gaps. And you can, again, decide later on if you want to go back and continue to build those skill sets and be proficient in it. But I would say definitely think about continuing education to close those gaps.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, it seems like we're starting to get more questions in the chat. So I'm going to bring Sophia in. And so we're going to get some of those questions answered. All right. So Sophia, what are some of the questions that our audience has?
Yeah, so the first question, I know we talked a lot about bridging that gap when it comes to skills, but some of our students are from the psychology, and so they were asking if they're really if you're hiring people that have psych backgrounds, or are you looking for more tech backgrounds when it comes to this work? And I'll start with Rachel, and any of other panelists wants to jump in, we would appreciate that.
Yeah, I love this question, and actually to kind of build on what we were just saying too. There's a difference between being like completely not qualified and then something that a lot of us struggle with, which is imposter syndrome, of like where we don't think we're qualified. But AI can actually help. There are tools now that will take your resume and a job description and help tailor that resume to that job description. And companies used to do this, where I actually worked with a company once that I'm telling them about my experience, and they're pulling things out that like I wouldn't have even said, oh yeah, that makes me a really great presenter, or I'm really strategic in this way, when I thought I was really tactical over here. So that is something where just because you might not think you have that skill set, it doesn't mean that you necessarily don't, or don't have some experience in it in the past. In terms of psych backgrounds, the reason I got my master's in psychology, because I actually had no intention of ever working in the mental health profession, was I really believe understanding people better is the one transferable skill for any and every and all industries. You are always going to work with people in your job. And so anything that you can do to better understand and better, show up every day, easier to work with, better at influencing, better understanding and communicating with people, you're going to get further in your career. So absolutely, I love when I see psych backgrounds on resumes. I love any kind of social skill or passion. Like, I really like when you see resumes that like, hey, I've been working in accounting and finance for 52 years, but I also have this side passion that I've built. I take all these certification classes because I just love learning about it, because it shows that you're a lifelong learner. It shows that you are going to put more into the things that you're passionate about. So I went a little off there, but yes, we do hire people with psych backgrounds.
Thank you so much, Rachel. In terms of that question as well, they're asking about if certification programs on, for example, Coursera matter. Do those certifications actually make an applicant stand out?
I can address this in the current job search. The job search has gotten really difficult right now. There are over the last, and I'm sure this is obvious at this point, but over the last year or so, layoffs have been a constant topic of conversation, both in a specific industry and also broadly in the news and wherever you consume media. So in terms of tactical things you could do outside of getting yourself prepped and ready, figuring out a specific job type or job family that you want to go after, then attacking the job that you want to go after as well. What you can do is find a strategy in terms of as you launch an application to a company, reach out to the hiring manager directly and reach out to the recruiter running that specific job and write a custom note showing them that, one, you've learned about the company and learned about the role, and then two, who you are and why you'd be an amazing fit in that role. Those are things that not every job seeker does today, but the ones who are getting interviews are doing in aggregate in their job search. Even if that improves your chances by 5 to 10%, you're applying to 100 jobs, is totally worth it for you to just take the extra time and go above and beyond in your search. And not to toot our own horns, but we are providing you tools where you could do that really easily, so you don't have to waste time doing it.
And I don't need to answer every question here, but I would just say, yes, Coursera, absolutely. What matters most is proficiency in it. So don't just do it to check a bunch of boxes, because your interviewers will check, right? I couldn't say I had my master's in psychology and not be able to speak about psychology. I couldn't say I have a project management certification and then know nothing about project management tools. So proficiency matters more than where you got the certification.
I have a question that is specifically for Danny Leonard. I am on your company's website and I noticed that you're wearing your shirt's company logo. That's very cool. And I'm looking at the various tools that this site offers. One of them is the career plan of action tool. And I am wondering when this is going to come out because it says coming soon.
Yes, very good question. We are constantly innovating and creating tools. It's on our roadmap. If it says coming soon, it'll likely be launched in the next few months. Nothing imminent, so not weeks away, but we're likely, 2 to 3 months out from launching those new tools. The replacement for that right now you can do is if you go to that suite and you say find your next job, that is a lead in to the one you're speaking about. So you could use that one to success, and probably it's flexible enough to help you get at least 60 to 80% of where you want to go.
Okay, and I have a part 2 question for folks, and this is for the entire panel. For folks who are making a career shift, what specific advice do you have for those people? Like, for example, I'm going from legal to psychology. That's a big change. How does one even look competent on paper when they're new to the field?
I can start. So I do have a lot of background in diversity, but I wanted to enter tech, so I had to really do a lot of research on the industry, understanding how I could add value to the industry, being able to network and talk to people in the industry to get their insights on pathways and ways that I could enter the field. And so I just think it's important, although you may not be currently in the industry, there's ways that you can enter the industry by networking, by learning more about the field, by thinking about what you really bring to the table as you enter the field to be an asset and to kind of add value and become an expert. I think that's also important. So I would just share those insights as how to kind of enter a new field.
Let me
And-
also ask, can
Thank you.
AI also help with that transition? As Rachel had mentioned, showing you the skills that you currently have and how it can be transferable to other areas. Can AI help with that?
Yes, you could ask AI, hey, you could tell, like, so I know Danny's going to show his product. I'm going to use ChatGPT because that's the one I use primarily. I can throw in there saying, these are my current skill sets. Would they transfer to this field? And how would it transfer to that field? And it'll list all the ways. Additionally, the other way I would use ChatGPT or any AI, generative AI program for interviewing skills is have it role play with you, because sometimes that's one of the biggest fears we have is when we go into interviews, we don't know what questions may be asked. So you can prompt the AI to say, hey, imagine you worked at this company X amount of years, you're interviewing a person for this position. What type of questions would you ask? And they'll give you a list of questions. And then you can respond saying, hey, how would you score this question for me if I responded this way? And it'll give you a generative score, and then you can tweak and modify. So that's what I would do. And kind of going back to the previous question with networking, I don't mean to put them on blast, but Dr. Dorn and Yas, they're great at networking, connecting, because they've helped me quite a bit. Like, I talk to them, and everyone I've known at Pepperdine has actually opened up more doors for me. And so that's something you can always look for. It's then networking is really great. And that's where you can connect with other people in, like, you're going from legal to psychology, connect with the people who finish the psychology program, see what they see, and get advice and tips from them, and they will help you quite a bit.
Thank you very much, all of you.
All right, Sophia, do we have one last question for the panel?
Let's see. I think we do have one last question, and again, it relates to just skills. So the participant asks, would you rather hire someone that is highly enthusiastic and motivated / eager to learn with minimum experience, or would you rather hire someone that has a lot of experience but lacks motivation and set on their own ways? And I know that our panelists did talk about how they value applicants that are highly enthusiastic about the role they are applying and being able to fluidly move across technologies, and by upscaling their skills. So do you have anything else to add in regards to this question?
I love people who have passion, and I will always hire passion over technical. It's easy to train the technical. I do, as a person who has been burnt out from a previous job before, I do want you to be aware it's passion's great, but also know how to work-life balance as well. Because I don't want, and this is me just speaking as a human being, it's you can have all the passion in the world, but if you burn yourself out, then you're not going to be effective for anyone. So make sure even with that passion, you balance yourself out with your work-life home balance.
Yeah, I'll just add, I think it's really great to have passion. I'm a very passionate person. I also think it's important that purpose, like really understanding what your purpose is, because you could be passionate about something, but maybe that's not your purpose. And so you will, to the previous speaker's point, get burnt out really quickly, and there's not alignment with, you know, your values and your purpose. And so it makes it difficult to be successful. So I would say purpose, passion, are all key ingredients to be successful, and learning as well. Never stop learning and growing. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Rachel, do you have any thoughts on that?
I actually was going more, I think, direct with the question, and my answer was it depends. For entry level or lower level roles, absolutely, it's enthusiasm and motivation. But what I have learned in my career, because I was that very young, enthusiastic, like I thought I could do everything, I wanted to do everything, but experience matters. And so I would have to find a balance, especially for those more senior strategic roles. There has to be some level of experience. So that's where, if you guys are looking to make a career move, start with learning more about that so that you do gain some of those skills and some of that experience. So you're not just coming in saying like, well, this sounds really cool and I'm really passionate, so you know, I want to do it. Make sure that you're also willing to put in the work.
Thank you. And then last, Danny, because then we're going to end here and Danny will go right into your demo.
Yeah, I tend to agree more with Rachel on this one. It just kind of depends on where you're at in your career, what you're looking for. I would say the best employees, the best folks I've worked alongside, coworkers, best executives I've worked for, bosses I've worked for, have always cared a lot about the mission of the company they're working at and the industry they're working at. So it's okay to be on a journey, of course. It's always okay to try a bunch of things until you find the right fit. But I've just found that when you kind of marry the even like hustle, energy, determination with the desire to be working on a big problem or a mission that really resonates with you, that's like a crazy winning combination. So that's where I tend to hire, and that's where I tend to gravitate when I work somewhere.
All right. Well, I thank our panelists for joining us today. Thank you for giving us all of your insight about AI. And at this point, we're going to continue with Danny because he's going to give us a demo about Ramped. So, Danny,
cool. Thank you very much. All right, let me know if you all can see my screen. It should just look like free job search help for all Pepperdine University students.
Yes.
All right.
Good.
Cool, let's jump in. All right, so like I said in the beginning, I'm one of the co-founders of Ramped. I'm really excited to show you what we do and how we help folks specifically skip steps. I'm not going to demo all of the tools we have. You can play with this for free using this exact website. You can sign up here, create a free account. Everything you see is free. So we've been innovating in the job search space, talent space for the last 4 years. And our current expression looks something like this. So you come in, you actually get started for free. You'll be met with this AI tools dashboard. And this dashboard follows a journey. The journey that you are on now is that of a job seeker. Obviously, some of you are right in the thick of it. So you will find a ton of value in this just right off the bat. But you can see these modules, again, free products. We like to think of them as products, and at some point we'll collapse all this into one big super app that will help train you, skill you, tell you where you should go. Some of the conversation today was like, well, can AI help me uncover what I want to do next? Absolutely. You will be able to do that with Ramp. You already can somewhat do that with Ramp too. So how I'm going to talk through this is I'll give you the brief overview and I'll share 2 of the tools, but all of these tools are meant to help you save minutes or hours in your job search. So if you're thinking, okay, hey, I don't know what I want to do, you can explore any job here. If you're thinking, I want to learn about any company as I prep for an interview, you have a learn about any company tool, and then prep for interview, right? You can go here. I'll show you this one quickly. I won't actually execute on it, but you can type in the amount of time an interview takes, the type of interview, the title of the job, and the recruiter, the type of interview you're going to, if it's a case study or if it's a sales role or a marketing role or a psychology role, whatever it is, clinician role, you can find it here. So I'm going to share 2 tools with you today. The first is Find Your Next Job. And this tool is really cool because it helps folks uncover some of the things that they might not know about themselves and they might not know about their job search in real time. So I filled this in with kind of dummy data, some personal data, some just basic data. So essentially you fill in a few prompts, you fill in what you're looking for next in terms of compensation, some of the industries that you're looking for, and then in plain English. We don't want this to be difficult, right? Again, democratizing access to the job search. Every single thing that you see here should be available to anyone who can type at an 8-year-old level. So we just want it to be super, super easy and accessible to nearly all folks, specifically and definitely all job seekers. So in my next job, I am looking for somewhere I can be creative, somewhere I can work in a team environment. I want to work with inspirational people. I want to work on video games. Okay, I'm getting a little bit further and more in detail. I want to work and design video game characters to tell their story. I don't want to work with a boss. What am I looking to avoid? Don't want to work with a boss who micromanages me. And I don't want to be around disrespectful coworkers. Okay, cool. So those are things that I want and don't want. And then all you have to do is simply paste in an existing copy of your resume, which, by the way, I didn't share, but you can build here with Ramped. We have an AI tool that will talk back to you a little bit as you're filling in your resume, and you can actually see in real time some of the questions for a specific job title. So if, again, you're looking to go into something clinical or you're looking to go and speak with people, it will ask you, hey, tell me a little bit more about what experience you have doing X, and we'll custom tailor your resume to you. So after you've filled in all of these prompts, you just click generate, and in 20 to 30 seconds, we're essentially stress testing in this time our AI, the models that we've built on top of publicly available data, on top of other AI, will say, okay, cool. Here are some of the things that we think could be really interesting to you. Based on what you told us, you could be a creative director for video games. You could be an art director in advertising, a visual development artist, a brand identity designer, a concept artist for gaming conventions. I didn't know any of these, right? Oh, okay. I knew that I could be a creative director for video games, but I didn't know I could also be a brand identity designer. I didn't know I could be a concept artist for gaming conventions. You can take this and you can feed it back into some of the other tools like Explore Any Job. So now you have those titles. You can do the same thing that I just showed you here and actually learn more about a specific title. Let's pretend that I've bypassed all those steps and I'm now in the application flow. So I need to write a cover letter. cover letters we've uncovered through thousands of conversations with talent acquisition folks and hiring managers, cover letters go unread by 70% of folks in the hiring process. However, nearly every single company requires or asks for a cover letter, whether they read it or not. It is the ultimate check the box. And when we talk to job seekers, you are spending 30 to 60 per cover letter to bring this to a level where it's not going to be read by the vast majority of people in the application funnel. So what do we do with this? We make it really easy for you to just gut check and generate a cover letter. So what's my first name? Paste in or upload my resume. Okay, cool. Let's pretend like I really do wanted that video game designer job. So now I'm looking at a video game designer at Sega. I've pasted in the job responsibilities direct from the job that I found online, and I click generate. And then same thing, in a short amount of time, in a few seconds, I'm going to be presented with a cover letter that not only encapsulates my resume, where I was and what I have done in the past, but where I'm going next. So what do I want out of this next role? What are some of the things I'm really good at? And we do this in a really short amount of time. So again, if you're thinking 30 to 60 minutes for a cover letter, we've just shortened this into 30 to 60 seconds. And what you'll get here, the output will be a cover letter template that you can stress test on your own and make it really easy to just copy it. So you can copy this straight here using this button and paste it into a document. Obviously, you should read through it for a few seconds to make sure we actually nailed it for you. But that just eliminated a step that is, one, not important in the job search, and two, takes people a ton of time. And three, is sometimes used to block access, right? It's a check the box. So if you don't submit that cover letter and it's required, and no one reads it, it's the ultimate check the box. So we've just eliminated that step for you entirely on something that's not important. However, we made it really easy and made it really accessible to all people. I'll pause. I know that demo is really, really brief. I filled in a lot of the data ahead of time, but this is the gist of RAMP. We've come up with a bunch of tools that do that already, but we're also creating a super app that will collapse all those into one and just track you for your career. So in the future, when you log on to RAMP, then you say, hey, I'm really looking for my next job, but I want a career change. I want to go from X to Y. So I actually want to get out of tech. I really badly want to go into sports. Okay, cool. Tell me a little bit more about the types of things you want. Tell me a little bit more about the skills that you already have. All right, amazing. It looks like I could find a few jobs in sports, but look, you'll have a better chance if you take this free YouTube course and get the certification that's already online. Here's that course. Do you want to take it? Yes, no, right? So we're just moving folks through the job search intuitively instead of making this another job for folks. I'll pause. Been talking for too long. I'm open to questions. You could also, we have a formal partnership established. So we will be around, and I hope to see all of you much more often in the future as well.
Thank you so much, Danny. So exciting to see all the possibilities. And as Danny mentioned, we are beta partners now with RAMP. So GSEP is partnered with RAMP, and we're providing feedback based on your user experience. And as you can see from the different modules, they are continuing to build and evolve the platform, but was really excited about the interface and its ease and relevancy. So Fania will put again in the chat the RAMP link for Pepperdine so that you can go to it directly and start exploring. And then we also have launched a Career Services AI Toolkit. And so every other month, we'll be posting on our playlist different AI tools. And this past month, we featured the cover letter writer in RAMP. So you can check that out as well. So thank you, Danny. Okay, so we just have a few minutes left. I'd like to transition to Usman. And Usman, can you share with us the connection between RAMP and our mission to promote DEIB and career services?
Sure. So the reason we partner with RAMP is this mission, which is to simplify the job search and break barriers of bias in today's job market, as Danny shared earlier. And I believe this aligns with our vision and also our DEIB commitment statements. Our vision at GSEP Career Services is that every graduate will have the clarity, confidence, and community to access, thrive in, and transform the future workplace.
And as part of our DIB efforts and approach, our team is committed to ensuring students and alumni have access to our resources and services from an equitable lens, and to foster a sense of community and belonging for each student while being able to honor students' diverse backgrounds and identities. And as Danny mentioned, RAMP seeks to increase access to job search tools and job opportunities for job seekers, which we believe would be really helpful for those who might not have access to mentors and career-related support.
Okay. Thank you, Usman. And so some of you are students, some of you are alumni, some of you are prospective students interested in GSEP, and you had an opportunity to hear from our fantastic alumni today. I did want to invite one of our enrollment officers, Odie Mitchell, to share a little bit about how you can follow up if you're interested in learning more about some of our programs. Odie?
Yes, thanks, Yas. Thanks so much for having me today. This is a wonderful forum, very good information for a lot of the students or potential students who may be here. My name is Odie Mitchell. I'm an enrollment officer with actually the Master of Arts in Psychology program that was completed by one of our panelists. So if you're interested in joining us here at Pepperdine GSEP, I think that one of our members is going to post several links that will be available in the chat. You can also reach out to our GSEP Enrollment Services Department or Admissions Department. We'll be glad to help you, to move you along, to help you to get from one step to the next and gaining more educational advancement in the fields of psychology as well as education. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions. We do have a full staff of enrollment service officers that are here to guide you from the from the application process through to enrollment and to help you get started on your way. So thank you so much for having me today. It was a pleasure to get all of this great information about how AI can help our students move from graduation to careers. So thank you so much for your time.
Great. Thank you, Odie, for joining us. And then before we close out, just a few more announcements. We'd love to hear your feedback. Your feedback helped drive the topics that we choose for JAMI, as well as creating a format that you can really learn and connect. So please just take a few moments to fill out the brief survey. If you registered on Handshake, if you are on Handshake, you'll be able to access this evaluation and be entered into an opportunity drawing to receive an Amazon gift card. And then I'll just invite my colleague, Sophia, to highlight other ways that you can network and connect with GSEP. Sophia?
Yeah, so if you want to know about more events such as this, you can go follow us on all of our social media platforms. We also have a LinkedIn group specifically for our alumni to be able to connect with each other. So yeah, follow us on social media and stay connected.
Great. Thank you, Sophia. And then finally, what's next? This is the kickoff event for our Fall JAMI Career Webinar Series, but we have 2 more ahead. So in October, our featured event would be Got Clicks, boosting your professional brand through multimedia. So this is an opportunity for you to discover how different social media tools can help you showcase your expertise and increase your online presence. You don't have to be an expert to be able to do that. You can develop that expertise and contribute that through social media. And we'll be co-hosting that with our GSEP writing support team. Then in November, our session will be called Navigating Our Identities in the Workplace. And this will be an opportunity for you to really hear more of an intimate, authentic discussion from different industry professionals about how they integrate or navigate their identities that are not always visible. And this can include mental health status, ability status, sexual orientation, gender identity, just to name a few. But for those of you who have those identities and would like support and feedback on how to best navigate those in the workplace, we have our alumni and industry professionals who are willing and offer to share their personal stories. So thank you so much for joining us today. It was so great to see all of you at our kickoff event, and we hope to see you in October. A special thanks to our panelists who have dedicated their time and volunteered to be here to share their expertise and their wisdom with us. Thank you so much.